Hi, welcome to the third video of A Drop of Excel. For those who have come to this video directly, this is a part of a 12 video series called A Drop of Excel. So I would urge you to go through the introduction first and then the first two videos and then come back to continue from here. Alright, now we're going to learn about data, cell and sheet formatting. To begin with, we will cover a topic called format cells. Now, in the previous video, we've understood that there are three kinds of data, that is numbers, text and date and time. We will learn now how to use different kind of formats within these three types of data. So we'll begin with an example of amount. I'm going to zoom in a little. Let's say in this particular column of amount, all the numbers you want that after the decimal, you should see only 2 digits. Plus, you should be able to see commas for thousands, right? And negative numbers should be highlighted effectively. This is what is the requirement. Alright. So now what we are going to do is we are going to right click on the cell and click on format cells. This box will open up. Alright. Now whatever setting we will do here will get applied to this one particular cell, that is C2. Why? Because our cursor was there. So if you want to apply this setting to the entire column, which is what we want to do, we would ideally select the entire column and then right click and do format cells. So that's what we are going to do now. Within format cells, there are a lot of different categories. The first one being general, which is a default one, which typically means that there is no specific format. Whatever you give, it is going to take it as it is. The next, the number. So what we want is that after the decimal, we always want 2 digits. So that is 2. You can change this to 1, 0, 3, whatever. You want the thousands separator, means for thousands and then for millions and then for billions, you want this thousand separator. There is a method to do it for lakhs and crores also. I will also put a link below to a post which I have written to get your comma for lakhs and crores. Negative numbers. I want all my negative numbers to be with a negative sign and with red in color, right? So that's what I'm going to select and then I'm going to press OK. Now this setting that we did has got applied to this entire column. Let's try it out. So if I enter a number 125.554 and when I press enter, it becomes 125.55. If I enter 125.557, it becomes 125.56. Simple rounding rules, right? More than 5 is the next number. So now you see whatever number you put, it reduces it to 2 digits after the point. Let's just put 125. You will get a 0.00 by default. So obviously 125.5 only will give you a 50. Now let me put a number which is in thousands. I'll put 5000. So I get my 5,000,000.00. If I put a negative 5000, now I get a minus 5000 in red color. So this was one example where you formatted your numbers in a way that you wanted, right? Just to quickly tell you, in the home tab, here also you see this number format. So you can do your setting from here also. But as a learner, it is better to use the right click format cells because this is more clear to use in terms of number of options. It's just very user friendly. Yes, this is also very user friendly, but that will come to you only once you get a hang of it. So for the beginning, I would urge you to right click format cells and then use it from there. Next, if you want this to be in currency, so I'll right click again. I'll go to format cells. And here there is an option of currency. So now you see again after the digit, after the point, how many decimal places do you want? What symbol do you want? You want rupees, you want dollars, you want euro, whatever you want, right? So let's say I'm going to take Australian. And then I'm going to again choose how my negative numbers should look like. So I'm going to say OK. So you see these currencies I've got applied. Now it is very important. So I'm going to take an example of India. Let's say I write RS.100. Now, if you observe, this number has gone left aligned, right? So by default, the golden rule, whatever is left aligned is always text. So you should not write rs.100 or rs100 or rupees 100. Whenever you want your rupee symbol, you put a number, you select that cell or the column or whatever cells you want, and you choose a currency which is rupees, and then it is correct. You can also increase or decrease the decimal places from here itself, right? So if I just click on decrease decimal or increase decimal, it works. All right, so this was in terms of the currency as well. Now let's take an example of a date. So I'm going to put a date of 30th March 2020. Now if I put 5/4/2020 and 5/4/2020, remember last time we had discussed in the last video that there is confusion. What is 4th May? What is 5th April? We don't know. This is pretty clear because it's 30th March, right? And it's on the right side, so it's a correct date. So now what we're going to do is we're going to select here, right click, format cells, and then we're going to go to the date option. Within the date, you see various formats available. You can even choose this one where you get the day of the week as well along with it. So it understands what day of the week it is, and it will automatically bring out that. So I'm going to select for now this long one and press OK. What happened? Now this is a very, very important learning. Whenever you get a symbol like this inside a cell, it does not mean that there is any problem in the data. All it means is that your column width is not correct. So I'm going to click here and I'm going to increase the width, and it works. We're going to learn a little more about columns and rows in this video itself. So we'll learn it at that point. Now you see the 3 dates that you had put have been formatted in a way where you have your day of the week and the entire date in a proper format. So let's apply this to the entire one. So we've applied this to the entire one. Now if I enter a date of 31st March 2020, boom, it automatically comes here. You don't have to worry about it at all, right? There is another method. We have already seen this, but I'll quickly revise it. If I put 33/2020, I'm sorry. And if I want to quickly format this, right? All I have to do is press Ctrl, Shift and 3 on the keyboard and I will get 30/20. Ctrl, Shift, 3. So this is an easy way to format your dates. Perfect. Now we're going to go into percentage, right? So if I say that I have a number 0.5, to express a number as a percentage, always you have to multiply it by 100, right? So you must be knowing this in maths that whenever we try to take a percentage out, whatever number we divide by whatever number, then you always multiply by 100, right? Now here, if I try to multiply by 100, so let's say I have a number 4/5 and I want to know 4 is how much percentage of 5. So if I divide this by 5 and if I multiply it by 100, what I'm going to get is 80%, which is correct. But I'm not getting the percentage sign anywhere, right? So I don't know whether this is a percentage, this is a number, what is it? So in Excel, what we need to do, we need to just click on the values and click on this percentage sign on top. Boom. And it gets converted. As simple as that. So I'll use that same logic here. If I convert this to percentage, now it has become 8000% because we multiplied by 100. So we're going to remove this multiply by 100 and it becomes 80% automatically. So what I'm trying to say here is that to get a percentage format, you do your division, but you do not multiply by 100. All you do is after the division, you just click on this percentage sign and you get it multiplied by 100 automatically. We'll take one more example. If I have 1 and 10, it means it is 10%, right? So I'm going to say this divided by this, but I'm going to mark it as percentage. Boom. It automatically multiplied 0.1 into 100. So I got my 10% very, very easily. Clear enough? All right. Let's go ahead. Now what we saw was format cells. Now we are going to see repeat last action, right? So there is a shortcut called F4. Okay, now this F4 is super useful. All right, so how we are going to use this is, let's say I have a date, one more date, and one more date, right? Now what I do here is I go here and I mark it as a long date, right? This is the format of the long date here, long date. Or I could go here and mark it as whatever date format I want. Now I have done this formatting. I want to do the same thing to this and this as well. So I can click here, and instead of going here and doing it again, I can directly press F4. What F4 does is, whatever the latest action you did, it repeats that action. I'll again go here and press F4. It repeats the action. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on bold. Now when I go to this date and I press F4, it's going to bold it because that was the latest action, not the date formatting. I'll go here and click F4, it becomes bold. I go here and press F4, bold. So that is your repeat last action. It is extremely useful yet underrated. This shortcut is super useful. Try it out. All right. Next is numbers, text, and cell colors. So let's look at this sample data, the one that we have been using. Now what we want to do is, we are going to first look at the borders. So we'll select these cells. All right. How you can also select these cells faster, you can click here, you can press Ctrl A and it selects all the data, right? Another method is, you keep here, you press a Ctrl Shift and down arrow, and then a Ctrl Shift and a right arrow. So what Ctrl Shift down does is, it selects to a point where the next cell is blank, right? So because there is no data after this, or even one blank row between after this, it will select it until there. Similarly for Ctrl Shift right. So I'll repeat, from here I did a Ctrl Shift down and then a Ctrl Shift right. All right. Now what we're going to do is, we're going to go into these borders. Here you see a lot of borders options. So we can select all borders, outside borders, right border, left border. So I'm going to go for all borders. So I get all the borders. The shortcut for this, now we're going to learn a quick way to learn shortcuts. You don't have to be dependent to learn shortcuts only by searching something. You just press Alt on the keyboard, right? When you press Alt, on top what you see is, in the menu, all the tabs have a different alphabet. Now because I want to go into the H, the home tab, I'm going to press H. Now because I want to go into borders, I'm going to press B. And now I want to remove the borders, so I can press N, or if I want to put the borders, I can press A for all borders, right? So we've already applied the borders, so I'm going to remove the borders by pressing N, and the borders get removed. If I want them back, I'll press Alt, after Alt, so you have to leave Alt, you don't have to keep Alt pressed. After Alt, H, and then B, and then A for all borders. So this is how you can apply borders in your data set. After borders, we are going to learn about text and cell colors. So this is for text color. This I believe everybody would know, but I'm just going to quickly go for it. So you can select any color you want from here, or you can go to more colors and add a standard or a custom RGB color, right? When you add a custom color, you will get it as an option here. So I have already added an extra color, right? So that is what you can select. For the cell colors, this is the one that the option is. So I'm going to select this custom color that we chose, and in terms of the text color, I'm going to select white. That's how it looks. Now I'll repeat the F4 again. So let's say I make this green in color in terms of the cell color. Now I click here and I press F4. I click here F4. I click here F4. That formatting gets copied. Essentially, it's not the formatting that is getting copied. It is the last action that is getting repeated. Interesting. So this is how you can work with formatting your borders, your text, and your cell colors. Moving on, we'll look at a format painter, right? The next is format painter. Now, in repeat last action, we only saw that the cell color got repeated because that was the last action. But what I essentially wanted was that the cell color should become green and the font color should become white. So I'm going to select the originating cell, right? So this is the format that I want, let's say in some other cell. So I'm going to select the originating cell. On top in the home tab, there is a yellow brush. So I'm going to click on this yellow brush and I'm going to click on this dumbbell set. Boom. You see that formatting has got repeated. All right. To make a little easier example, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write ABCD and XYZ. To ABCD, I'm going to apply a red color, a white font, a border, and a bold, right? I've put 4 things. You see red cell color, white font color, text color, the black border, and the bold. I'm going to click here. I'm going to click on Format Painter. I'm going to click on this cell. All the formatting gets copied. Interesting enough, right? In the description below, I will put more related video links as well, or related post links as well. So you can read about and learn about more things related to these particular items. So for example, in Format Painter, there is something more to learn. So you will find a link below which will help you to learn more about Format Painter. So what you will learn there is, right now we learned how to apply the format from one cell to another. There you will learn how to apply the formatting from one cell to multiple cells, which could be together, which could be not together. So view the description below, you will find the link there. All right, but do not get distracted. Complete this video and then you go for that video, right? All right. Next is merge cells and wrap text. Now, when I say merge cells and wrap text, so let's just see merge cells first. So if I have to create an invoice format, right? This is not, merge cells is not to be used in your normal data set. So guys, please make sure that you go through the 10 rules of the data, the 10 questions, always follow them, right? So this merge cells is to be used only when you're making some kind of a format, like an invoice format or an inventory sheet format or something like that. And let's say this is where you want your invoice to be created. Now on top, you want to give a heading, which is invoice. So I'm going to select these and I'm going to type invoice. Now, if I click on this merge and center, this becomes one single cell. And then this is how it looks. So essentially what has happened is your K1 has got extended. So now in this particular sheet, L1, M1, N1, O1, P1, Q1 and R1 do not exist anymore. There is only K1. Is that making sense, everyone? Right? So by merging the cells, only one cell's address remains and the other's address vanishes. So this is about merge cells. Now we will look at wrap text. So I'm going to use this example only. I'm going to reduce the size of this column, right? Now what you see is that the names are not clearly visible, but I don't want to increase the column width. I want to keep the column width as it is. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this column and on top here in the home tab, I'm going to click on wrap text. All right. And now you can adjust the row height. So to adjust all the row heights, I'm going to just select this and double click here. What happens is now what you see is that based on the length of the text, the height of the row is adjusted, but the column width is not extended. Now, because Slamball did not extend the column width, it remained in the same row height. But a pull-up band or a speed rope was extending the column width, hence it went to the next line. So this is automatic wrap text, right? Now there is one more method to do this, not really wrap text, but there is one more method to do writing content in the same cell but the next line, right? So what we can do is we can say Rishabh, Alt Enter, Shah, Alt Enter, sorry about that, Excel Rush. Now when I press normal enter, it looks like this. So what has happened is by pressing Alt Enter, it has taken me to the next line in the same cell. That's how Alt Enter works. This is also very, very useful. Please try to revise this. All right, clear formatting. Now we've applied some formatting here, a lot of places, right? Now I want to remove this formatting. Now we had applied 4 things here, right? There was a cell color, a text color, a border, and a bold. Now if I have to remove all the 4, I have to do 4 steps. Rather, in the home tab on the right side, there is a small eraser kind of an icon. You click there and you say clear formats. All formatting is gone. All right, I'll repeat, Control Z, I've just undooed the value. I'll say clear formats. And there is one more thing to remember here. If I click on this one, where again 4 steps are done, if I just click on delete, only the value gets deleted, not the formatting. So if I want only the formatting, I would have clicked here. If I want to delete only the content, I'll click here. But if I want to delete everything, the formatting as well as the content, I will click on clear all, and boom, everything gets cleared. All right. Now we're going to go to the last point, which is rows, columns, and sheet formatting. I would urge you to pause here if you want to revise something that we've already covered, and then come back and continue. Moving on. So these are my rows and columns and sheets, right? So now I want to format these. When I say format means what? This is one way of increasing or decreasing the column width. We've already seen this, right? But I want to adjust the column width exactly as per the length of the content. So I don't want to manually set this. Rather, what I would do is I would just select the column, and to this point I would just double click. Boom, it gets adjusted automatically. I do not have to do anything manually, right? Same way it applies for the row. Now in terms of sheet, I can right click the sheet and I can say rename if you want to rename the sheet. So you can type the name, and if you want to apply a color, I can right click and I can say tab color. And when I click on red, for example, you see a hint of red here. But when you go to another sheet, you see the actual red color on the sheet tab. So this is where you can apply a tab color to your sheet. Now we'll look at hiding rows, columns, and sheets. So if I don't want the cost price to be visible here, I can right click and I can say hide this column. Now on top you see B and D. C is missing, so that clearly shows that there is a column in between. So you can select both of these and you can say right click unhide and it will come back. Same way, if I want to hide the yoga mat row, or I can select multiple and I say right click hide, you see a 6 and then a 10. So I can select both and I can say unhide and it will come back. Same way for sheet. I have 3.7 sheet. If I say right click and say hide, it gets hidden. I don't know where it is now. So I can say right click, say unhide, and I'll get a list of all hidden sheets. I select the particular sheet that I want to unhide and press OK and it will come back. That's all for this particular video, which is data, cell, and sheet formatting. If you have any questions in this video, please leave it as a comment in the section below. And most importantly, if you like the content, if you've enjoyed learning, please like, share, and subscribe so that many more people can also learn this. Thank you for watching. See you in the next video.